Every summer, millions of families load up the cooler, head to the cookout, and watch the fireworks. And for a lot of parents, that sounds wonderful. But what if you've got a child who covers their ears the second fireworks start, who spirals after eating poolside snacks, who is a completely different kid for days after the 4th of July? This holiday probably isn't the highlight of your summer. It's something you quietly dread. And here's what I want you to know right now. Your child's meltdown isn't a behavior problem. It isn't about being spoiled. It isn't about your parenting. It is a nervous system problem, and the research finally tells us exactly why it happens and what we can actually do about it. So, if you're a parent who's exhausted from watching your child fall apart at events that are supposed to be fun and are ready to stop guessing and start understanding what's really happening inside your child's brain and body, you have to keep listening. We're going to chat about red dye 40 and sensory heavy environments and how really these two stressors hit at the same time at the same system. So, we're going to touch on why kids fall apart at fireworks while others love it. And lastly, the path forward that you can take to help your child regulate and not just survive. So let's dive in. A common trend that we see every summer that we see in the office are parents that come in after the 4th of July and say some version of the same thing. We had a great morning, then it just fell apart. Popsicles and sugary drinks at the cookouts, late night fireworks, past kids' typical bedtime, and within minutes, their child was screaming, inconsolable, and unreachable with disrupted sleep and elevated behaviors that were lasting for days. And here's what surprises most families when we explain it: nothing really went wrong in the way that they're thinking it did. Red dye 40 is the most widely used artificial food coloring in the US, and it's at every 4th of July party. Popsicles, sports drinks, candy, ketchup, fruit snacks, flavored yogurt. So that red popsicle at noon at the family cookout wasn't just sugar. It was a chemical priming the nervous system for overload hours before fireworks even started. And a landmark randomized controlled trial actually found that artificial food colors significantly increased hyperactivity in children across all age groups, not just kids with ADHD. And this prompted the European Union to require warning labels. And the Office of Environmental Health Hazard Assessment in 2021 confirmed that artificial food colors can cross the blood-brain barrier and directly affect neural signaling in children whose nervous systems are still developing. Red dye 40 doesn't just cause hyperactivity, it triggers neuroinflammation, it disrupts neurotransmitter function, and it causes intestinal permeability. So think of leaky gut syndrome. And roughly 80% of vagus nerve fibers carry information from the gut to the brain. So when red dye 40 disrupts gut function, it directly disrupts nervous system regulation. And this makes this the really not just a food issue, but a neurological issue. So think of the autonomic nervous system like an air traffic control system. In a well-regulated nervous system, sensory input flows smoothly. The brain filters what matters and dampens what doesn't. A 4th of July celebration is a full sensory assault. Fireworks at 150 plus decibels, fire engine sirens, crowds flashing lights, smoke, heat, and a disrupted sleep schedule all at once. So when the nervous system is already dysregulated, the gas pedal is floored, the brake pedal barely working, that input creates a massive neurological traffic jam, and the child melts down, tries to escape, or can shut down completely. Common signs of sensory overload include covering their ears at fireworks, refusing to eat, aggression or clinginess in crowds, emotional breakdown during or after the event, and sleep disruptions that are going to last for days afterwards. The meltdown isn't about the fireworks. It's about a nervous system that's already overwhelmed before the family left the house. The fireworks were kind of just the final straw that caused it all. Two kids eat the same red popsicle. One is fine, the other one spirals. Two kids watch the same fireworks. One loves it, the other breaks down. The difference isn't willpower or parenting, it's the nervous system. And we call this the perfect storm, which is an accumulation of prenatal stress, birth trauma, and early childhood stressors that accumulate and disrupt neurological development from the very beginning of life. Each layer, difficult delivery, early antibiotic use, Chronic ear infections, colic, reflux, this creates what we call subluxation, which is a neurological interference that disrupts the function, regulation, and adaptability of the nervous system. Subluxation will then lead to what we call dysautonomia, which is an imbalance between the sympathetic gas pedal and the parasympathetic brake pedal that leaves the child without the neurological reserves to handle what other kids are able to handle easily. And management strategies can really only go so far. If the nervous system has a hole in it, you can bail water all day long and still be sinking. The real work has to happen at the foundation. Red 40 loaded popsicles at noon, fireworks at 150 decibels at 9 p.m., crowds and sirens in between, and a child who walked into that party already running on a nervous system deficit. That is a double assault because the artificial dyes will attack from the chemical side, disrupting the gut, triggering inflammation, and compromising the gut-brain axis. And then the sensory overload attacks it from the neurological side, flooding the brainstem with input that a dysregulated nervous system can't process. Both hit the same target, the autonomic nervous system and the vagus nerve. And when they hit simultaneously, the combined effect is far greater than really either one of them alone. And this is why so many parents say that their child is a completely different kid for days after the 4th of July. The nervous system is a prolonged recovery state. It's not just a single bad night. So how can you start restoring nervous system regulation? Short-term strategies, they do matter. So reading labels to avoid red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6. You can bring noise-canceling headphones, have a quiet exit plan, protect their sleep schedules, but these can only manage the load. They don't fix the foundation. That's where insight scanning technology changes the conversation. Using SEMG, so our muscle tone scan, and thermal scans, a neurologically focused chiropractor can get an objective, measurable picture of how the nervous system is actually functioning. Insight scans will identify exactly where the nervous system is stuck in sympathetic overdrive, where the vagus nerve function is impaired, and where the subluxation patterns are creating the interference. And then neurologically focused chiropractic care is not just a cure for any condition. It actually works to restore the underlying regulation that affects how a child will process their environment and when the brake pedal begins working alongside the gas pedal. Therefore, parents will then see consistently that the changes go far beyond just surviving a holiday. We're not just helping kids cope with a dysregulated nervous system. We're working to regulate the nervous system itself. When that foundation shifts, sleep, digestion, transitions, and sensory tolerance are all going to shift with it. So if this is connecting the dots that you've been trying to piece together for months or maybe even years, I want you to know that your child isn't too sensitive. Their nervous system is telling you exactly what it needs, and there is a path forward. It starts by getting an objective look at how the nervous system is actually functioning. So go ahead and click the link in our bio. You can send us a DM or schedule directly at newridgechiro.com with Dr. Josh, myself, Dr. Kelly, and the team at New Ridge Chiropractic and Wellness in Colorado Springs. This 4th of July, your family deserves more than survival mode. They deserve answers and a way forward. Every kid counts, and expect miracles.